Welcome to Eternal Serenity Tarot. This is going to be your reading for the month of August. We're just seeing whatever comes out. Already, you guys could be working really hard right now. You could be finding more solid ground as it pertains to your finances. Either your work life feels more stable right now, or in the month of August, you might come across an idea. For some of you guys, I think you're coming across a partnership, but you might come across an idea. You guys could actually even be people who are doing very well financially, and the only thing you feel like that's missing from your life right now is a relationship. Um, but this month, you could also come up with some sort of idea that ends up being a real moneymaker for you guys. Something very solid, long term. Um, could even be a business that you might pass down to your kids. But the only way for y'all to have kids, we're gonna start with your second oracle today instead of your first because I can't wait to find out what this is for you guys. Um, Wait, my bad. Love and partnership, collaboration, intimacy, power dynamics. So that's interesting. And then we have gratitude is dreaming, the manifesting power of gratitude, and the law of praise. And it came out in reverse. The thing about gratuity is that it requires us to be present and it requires us to pick our head up from whatever it is that we're doing. So if you guys are really, really busy right now, you might not be taking the time away to just be grateful for where you're at. Like, enjoy the process. Because I think things would come to you a lot faster if there was some sort of clarity in your energy. This could even be like you could have relationships, like past love relationships that haven't worked out. You could have had some really gnarly breakups, is what I'm getting. Um, and now it's leaving you feeling a little bit jaded. And there could need to be a shift in your perspective as far as what you've gained from those relationships, because you could feel like, wow, I went into these relationships with high hopes. I met these people. I hoped that I would be able to create something beautiful with them, and I just completely misread the situation. Or sorry, we got cut off there. I was saying that in the past you could have dealt with people that you feel like misrepresented themselves. Um, the thing about that is that's a really normal thing, unfortunately. Like, we as a people have just normalized showing our best selves when we meet people. Um, and so everybody's putting on their best show. And then it's not until you get really, really close to someone and you've known them for a while and they get comfortable, because that's really what it is. It's when the novelty wears off and we get comfortable, then it's like, hey, this is me. And that doesn't always jive so well when both people are doing the whole this is me thing, and those things are not compatible. So there could be a need for you to shift your perspective about these relationships and needing to look at them as a lesson learned, but also maybe needing to take some accountability, needing to, and you could be doing this already, so this is not for those of you that are, but for those of you that haven't done this yet, there could be a need to be accountable for mm, sometimes we ignore red flags, you know, we ignore like inconsistencies and stuff that people say. We ignore like the little peaks of people's character that tries to shine through before we fully, ooh, I'm getting somebody even ignoring their intuition, like the intuitive nudges that you get. ignoring that, pushing it to the side, and in the end regretting it, and being like, oh man, it's like you can look back at all the moments that you ignored before you really got to that like pinnacle moment where everything came crashing down. So August could be the month that's calling you to release your past, release your exes, let go of anything that hasn't worked out before. Because if you are trying to build something, two heads is better than one. So let's get some tarot for you guys. Ooh. 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 Okay, Taurus. What is going on? Yeah. See, the world in reverse means that something is incomplete. It's like we can't move forward properly. Okay. When you don't learn the lessons of the past, you are bound to make those same mistakes in the future. So when the world comes out in reverse, this is like we've gone through a cycle, but we're kind of getting ready to go back through it again because we're not taking everything into consideration, even the stuff that we learned about ourselves. You never want to be too focused on what other people are doing wrong. Like, this is not to say that in whatever, like these past relationships, that these people weren't wrong or they weren't whatever you think they are. But what it means is that you can't change those people or why they were wrong, but you can fix yourself. So there are things about yourself that you can work on, and again, you can also just be honest with yourself. In order to learn, you have to be honest with yourself, and you got to be able to be transparent. Which is funny because it sounds like there was a lack of transparency in these relationships, but you could have, I don't want to say you attracted them in, because we attract in all kinds of different people and things, but it's more about what we allow in. So you're attracting a whole bunch of different people, but for some reason, these specific people were the relationships that you chose to move forward in, and that didn't work out. I think this month is going to be calling you into looking at what it is about these people that makes you, that attracts you to them and keeps your interest, and also why you ignore red flags. What do you feel like you stand to gain by not seeing these people for what they are? All right, so we've got the Three of Cups, the King of Cups in reverse, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and the Seven of Swords. This month, you could have a lot of money. I don't know if you're celebrating something, but you could have a lot of money coming out. This Nine of Pentacles in reverse, sometimes it comes out like that, and it's giving like, it ain't tricking if you got it. So I don't know if this is spending money on like short-lived relationships, like hookups and stuff like that, and some sort of a lifestyle that coincides with this. And this lifestyle allows you to shut your feelings off and be more detached. Because one thing about the King of Cups, whether he's upright or he's in reverse, is that he has the ability to take his feelings and kind of like put them in a box. Like he's good at being able to observe his feelings, but he's not always the best at actually taking those feelings, getting in that water like the Queen of Cups does. Sometimes she submerges herself in those feelings, sometimes for the worse. But they're sometimes working on like two opposite ends of the extreme. So this King of Cups in reverse can just be you being very emotionally detached. Emotionally unavailable is kind of what it's giving. So I don't know if this is spending money to like fill a hole. And it's a hole that's actually in your heart. And that's why whatever money you're spending, it's not going to make it better. So like things in your job could be going well right now, and you've got an active social life, but there's just still something that's missing. The Seven of Swords. I'm curious about it. I'm curious because that is usually when somebody's trying to get away with something, or they're engaging in something that they don't want other people to know that they're engaging in. And it's usually something risky. So what is this Seven of Swords? Damn, my whole damn deck almost just fell out. Five of Cups in reverse. I want. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not even trying to laugh at you, but I'm just laughing because this is really an avoidance of your feelings, like at its finest. This Seven of Swords and this Five of Cups in reverse. It's like in August, you're going to be ready to give whatever this is up. Like whatever this past disappointment is, this is grief. This is, when it comes out upright, it can be like revisiting situations where we were disappointed. You know, like maybe physically we're not in that environment anymore, or we're not in that relationship anymore, but mentally and emotionally we haven't left yet. So there's something that you're being called to release this month. But why the Seven of Swords? This could also be the behavior that has caused your own heartbreak, like sneaking around, some sort of maneuvering behind the scenes, something you could have gotten caught up in. Or you could have had a relationship, maybe y'all were cheating on each other, I don't know, but or you could have been someone who, maybe you don't have the best like track record in your relationships, and then you get in a relationship with somebody and then they're the cheater. You know, like they're the one that's doing all the sneaking around and the scheming. I don't know what this is. Let's keep trying to get one more card. Actually, I'm gonna use Rider Waite for a second. Let's see. Ooh. Two of Cups. Okay. So, okay, we had the Gratitude card in reverse, and it was saying that like dreaming is manifesting. Or is there something that you guys are secretly manifesting for this month? Look at that. Would you look at that? Okay, what is the Seven of Swords? Taurus, what do y'all have going on this month? King of Wands. Okay. King of Wands can be a very dominant energy. Ooh, you could have been in a very like by any means necessary sort of an energy, and maybe in the month of August it might come back to bite a little bit. Oh, it might be coming back to bite because you're realizing that that's a source of either one relationship in particular ending, or this is a problem in all your relationships, like being sneaky. Bottom of the deck is that Nine of Cups, and then the Moon. Taurus, what are we doing? Okay, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh shit! I didn't even realize the Nine of Cups was on the bottom of this deck. I just saw 1111 on my timer. Y'all, Taurus, what are we doing? Nine of Cups in reverse is very be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it and you just might not want it. So, August, are you experiencing consequences of your actions? What is it? Sometimes that Nine of Cups is greedy, you know? Look at it in this version. Because look at his face. He just looks so proud. And sometimes this is the kind of stuff that we tell ourselves that we want and need just so that we can show it off to other people and they can envy us. But then behind the scenes, you're feeling very hollow. So this could even be like a lifestyle or something that you're keeping up, some sort of reputation or image. Um, this is some way that people know you to be, and I don't know if I would say they respect you for it, but there is something about it that they envy. But I feel like August is that month where we question just how worth it that is to us. All right. What is, ooh, too many. Okay. What's this Nine of Pentacles in reverse? Y'all spending that money, child. Page of Swords. Interesting. Page of Swords. Okay. We already did Aries, and there really was nothing like this Taurus. What do y'all have going on? Okay. We got the Star in reverse. Let me make sure y'all can see that a little better. We got the Star in reverse, which can be, that's insecurity. A fear of being seen, a fear of being vulnerable. That's a fear of presenting yourself as you naturally are because you're scared that you might be rejected. So maybe August, I think, is going to be calling you guys to really confront maybe the ways that you've gotten in your own way. King of Swords in reverse. Fascinating. So I feel like you guys are kind of, how do I want to say this? There have been times that you might have suspended logic, or maybe like when it comes to spending your money, any sort of logic and planning or like a sense of responsibility is just going out of the window. Page of Swords, I'm wondering if you're watching someone. Are you guys stalking somebody? Because you could be hiding out in the shadows. You could be stalking somebody that something didn't work out with. Because this is kind of feeling like y'all are like standing off in the shade, hood up, sunglasses. But when we have this Star in reverse energy, this can be watching kind of bitterly, for lack of a better word. I'm sorry, that's just how it's coming through. You have the Two of Pentacles, so there's definitely a lot of responsibility that's being juggled, or you're juggling people. But I'm not really getting that. I think this is more responsibility. That you're keeping up right now. Maybe that's why you party so hard, because there's a lot of responsibilities that you have to take care of. And so you feel like as hard as I work, I have to party equally as hard to kind of make up the difference. But there's something about the way you get down in this whole party scene that is hindering you. I don't think you guys are saving. Oh, wow. I didn't think the Two of Pentacles was going to come out, but here we are. It was just bottom of the deck. Yeah. So you could even see, because you have so much responsibility, or you're very focused on the bag right now. And I think a lot of it has to do with needing to keep up this lifestyle. That could be part of why you're so like, oh, excuse me, why you guys are so emotionally closed off. It's so funny. I almost couldn't say that. I don't know. I don't know if somebody doesn't want to think of themselves that way, but that's you could be viewing connecting with people in like a real deep, meaningful way as being an inconvenience to you right now. Look at that. Ooh, hold on. Look at that. Look at that Three of Swords. Woo! That is an open wound right here. So something about this month is exposing this to you. I wonder what though. Okay. Under the Three of Swords is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So you could feel like you're just, I don't know if this is financially recovering from a relationship that ended. Um, I don't know if you're convincing yourself that you're over a relationship that you're definitely not, because we have the Three of Swords here and it is upright. So that means that this is active. The swords are still in the heart. They haven't been released yet so that this wound can actually close and scab over. I don't know if you're dealing with people that are triggering you. And so this, like, it's like a scab that's being picked at, is how I'm getting it. Maybe that's what it is. Something about this month is going to be picking at this wound. And you're going to realize just how tender it still is. Some of you could also have like an idea of commitment due to like relationships you've had in the past where you see them as being very suffocating. And so avoiding relationships now is like, I don't want to be tied down. I don't want anybody calling me, asking me where I'm at. I don't need anybody yelling at me. I don't need anybody trying to tell me what I can and can't do, who I can and can't speak to. Like, I'm big boss around here. I'm my own person. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys are definitely working on something, though. Very diligently. You could even be in school right now. Maybe you're like recently re-enrolled, and this is like work balance. Like you're trying to balance work, school, and a social life. And trying to dibble and dabble and maybe get, some sexual needs met, but the emotional, like your emotional and mental stimulation is being sacrificed for whatever this is. I just saw 309 on the clock. I don't know if that's a significant number for anyone. Okay, and then we got the Fool. Can I get another card on this Fool card? Actually, I'm gonna pull right away for that too, actually. Okay. Okay. All right, on the bottom of this deck, though, we have the Three of Wands. So let me talk about that while I'm shuffling my Rider-Waite deck. Three of Wands is after you've taken a step forward, or taking the step forward after you've done some sort of contemplation. So before the Three of Wands is the Two of Wands, which is a card of decision making. But usually, to me anyway, it talks about like not feeling comfortable moving forward until you have enough information to satisfy you. Like a lot of times we want some sort of a guarantee that something is going to work out or it's going to go how we want it to, or we want to have some kind of an idea of how it's going to go and we want it to be well. So you can be nervous about moving forward with anything that you don't feel like you can see the end of, which is interesting because the Fool card is the first card. It's number 0. And then we've got the Ten of Pentacles. So whatever this is that you're embarking on, it is going to be successful. Or this is something that you've already taken some sort of a leap of faith on and you're currently in the middle of. So if this is a new job, this is something that is going to be really beneficial for you. If this is a business idea, if this is, self-employment. Because the Fool card also talks about being on the precipice of something. So standing on the outside. And it's like you kind of project. So maybe this is that projection. You kind of project what you think is out there. So like, see how he's in this water. This is like before you even, ooh, actually, let me see if I can find the Fool card in this deck so I can show y'all a little bit better. Because I really prefer that. Oh, there it is. In reverse this time. Interesting. So see how he's standing on that cliff? And he's kind of like, he's got the rose in his hand, right? So he's stopping to smell the flowers. He's got his little knapsack and nothing else. He's got his dog. His dog is excited. But there's also a sense of like peace with the Fool. And I think, and this is Aries energy, I think it's similar to the Magician, which is actually the next card. In that there's trust, you know, there's trust in like, okay, I guess if I go down there and I fall flat on my face, at some point I will bounce back and I will be okay. So there's something that you are nervous about. Because look on that Three of Wands. Like they're directly plugged into these plants, but you can see the flowers haven't started to open up yet. So he's nervous, and you got that Moon card energy, which is again is that uncertainty, the projection. Ooh, and under it is the Eight of Swords, which is more a card of like outside influences. So this month could be calling you to let go of any sort of internal voice that really isn't yours. And maybe any beliefs or ideas that you've internalized that come from other people and their perspective on life and their experiences and how they've come to understand their experiences. Three of Wands is definitely an investment. And that's why they're so nervous on that card. Because this is something that you're like, I am so deeply connected to this situation that if this doesn't go the way I planned, like, what next? What am I going to do? You know, I've given this all that I got. So what am I going to have left after that? I don't know if we're talking about the trepidation that you have surrounding engaging with like new people romantically or engaging more seriously, because I don't think you have a problem with engaging with people. I don't think entanglements are an issue for you right now. I'm sure you're very well satisfied, but you're not. You know, there's a whole aspect of yourself that's being neglected, and it feels like it's out of protection. So you're telling yourself, like, there's just a lot of like, I don't want to deal with that. So I think you're going after things right now that you feel like are guaranteed. And if there's anything that you feel like has uncertainty, then it's like, we can kind of take or not. It's not even really take it or leave it. It's like we could just leave that. We're not even looking in that direction. So this is interesting. Aries reading was about trying to force a door to open. And for you guys, this is like doing everything you can to just board that door up completely. It's got all kind of locks on it. It's being guarded. And I feel like this is actually the door to your heart. The Ace of Swords was the card that came out for that Fool card. So this is clarity. But again, this also feels like an idea. So this is something you want to pursue, but you're not going to gain clarity. It's like once you actually pursue it, as you're in it, you will gain more clarity. I think that's where the fear is coming from in taking this next step forward. There's a lot of information that you're feeling like you don't have. And so it's like, well, how can I even prepare myself if I don't even know what I'm preparing for? But for the Fool, he's not, come on, like, look at him fighting off the piranhas. Like, I doubt he was prepared for this, or maybe he was, but it's like you can, as much as you can prepare for this happening, it doesn't mean that getting bit by these little monsters doesn't hurt. Like, it doesn't take the sting away. So this can be when we try to like overly planned, because sometimes this King of Swords can be that too. And maybe this strategic Seven of Swords energy that we were getting of this maneuvering is more of like, I'm just trying to protect myself. I'm trying to safeguard myself. Um, hmm. Yeah, so there's something that you won't know just how good it can be or it's going to go until you actually pursue it, until you actually take that step forward, jump in, dive off, the deep end, jump in head first and pursue it. And it's like, if the more information you gain, I think this has to do with whatever relationship you were in before, and you felt like the more information you gained, the worse things got. I think in this case, it's like you need to trust yourself. If that happens, if you pursue this thing and the more information you gain, the worse it sounds, then it just sounds like something to separate yourself from. But maybe in the past that wasn't that easy. You might have like rushed into tying yourself into something, tying your finances together with somebody, moving in together, just pushing your lives together in a way that was very forced. And then the unraveling and like undoing and the adjustment afterwards might have been hard, to where you could feel like you're just finding your footing. And the idea of putting yourself at risk of something that might have you there again is creating a lot of fear. And then it's also creating a lot of self doubt and a lack of movement for something that I feel like you actually do really want, which is love and partnership. Heavy on the partnership too. Collaboration and intimacy. Ooh, some of you guys could have a fear of intimacy because we had that star card here. And vulnerability is very intimate. I don't know if these are people who have been vulnerable in the past and it wasn't received well. Maybe you had certain things about you that people found out and then they abandoned you, or if that hasn't happened, this is just a fear of that happening. Then we got the Six of Swords in reverse, which is needing. I was gonna say it's something you haven't moved on from. You need to move on, and then under it was that Three of Swords. So Three of Swords again. I mean, it cannot be any louder and any clearer. We have the High Priestess in reverse, which can be like ignoring your intuition. It can also be a lot of secret keeping. But sometimes I feel like that High Priestess in reverse is like choosing to stay in the dark for fear of like what happens when you turn the lights on, which feels like that Moon card again. um, you know how you'll be in your bedroom and you have like a jacket on your chair or something on your chair and you have all the lights off, and in the dark you just see a shadowy figure and it's like, okay, what is that? This is, instead of getting up and turning the light on and relieving yourself of the from the fear, of like that projection of whatever you think it could be, which is that worst case scenario, your brain telling you, oh my god, it's a demon, but it's really a jacket. um you need to turn the lights on instead of like pulling the blanket over your head and being like, oh my god, it's gonna get me, because that only makes everything worse. It makes the fear larger, and then now you've created an entire situation that never even happened, and then blocked yourself off from something that could have been everything that you wanted, but you couldn't have it, and you never got to get to this Ten of Pentacles because you were scared. This is a lot. I think this is a lot for you guys. And that's probably why you're avoiding even thinking about or looking at it. It feels like escapism. Like something about this lifestyle you use to escape any sort of like these thoughts, but they're not going anywhere. Like none of this anxiety or like this fear is being cleared out. It's just being shoved down and probably internalized. Okay. You need to let your guard down. And then we had the Strength in reverse that came out. Strength in reverse is something that you might have felt like, oh, I got it under control, but now it's got control of you. It's in the driver's seat and you're like tied up with tape on your mouth in the trunk of the car. I'm hearing like, don't be a bystander in your life. So that's interesting. Let's get another card on the strength in reverse. So either something has gotten a hold of you, or sometimes this strength in reverse can be too much control and like overly composed, which I feel like makes sense too. Because you guys are trying to be really controlling of your emotions and of your life in general. But I see why. Like, you could be people that don't really like change all that much. It could take you a while before you actually get comfortable with like a new set of circumstances. And so I think you're in a spot where you're very comfortable right now. um, because you got a routine, you got some sort of flow going, but it's like, at what cost? It feels like it's at the cost of your happiness, really, like true, genuine happiness and fulfillment. Which is like, if you want people to envy you, you want to give them something to envy. Oh, Five of Cups again in reverse. You put it right there with the other Five of Cups in reverse. Yeah, this really needs to be released. And you got the Four of Swords, which is a card of rest and relaxation. Maybe there was like a whole time period that you had to take to yourself where you didn't really go out, weren't really social, and you could just be really avoiding falling back into that space. So maybe that's why this isn't being addressed. So we got the Four of Pentacles, which is like possessiveness, again, more control, but it comes from fear of what happens if you have to go without something. Four of Pentacles is fear of loss. Like, you see how tightly, first of all, he's really a different breed. Like, look at that. Look at the way he's got his feet on these pentacles. And he's holding onto this metallic, and this one's on his head. He is monitoring this so closely. Like, you couldn't even begin to think about taking something from him. So you could just be very defensive right now. Like, very, because you're not financially holding back in any sort of way, but this is like, ooh, don't get too close, you know? And this could have come after that period where you took a lot of time to yourself. It's like you came back outside and suddenly you just weren't the same anymore. You were a lot more anxious, or a lot more like there was a lot more to think about. You felt like this could be before you moved in a way where you didn't act like you had something to lose, until you lost it. And now it's like, it's all you can think about is, oh my God, but like, what if? Okay, friends. August is an interesting month for you guys. I don't know why this comes up for you, but it does. And maybe you come across somebody that you really like, but you don't pursue it for these reasons. Or for some of you, you have a situation that you already haven't pursued for this reason. And it's like you're telling yourself that you're doing the right thing, but internally your intuition is like, are you really? Are you really doing the right thing? Do you really feel good? Are you really enjoying yourself and having fun? I mean, to the outside world, you could look like you're having a damn good time, but it's like, what's behind the curtain? Okay, Taurus. I'm going to get 2 cards of advice for you guys for this month, and then we're going to close this out. Because I feel like we could sit here and talk all day about what this is and what it is. Ooh, look at that. The mask we wear. I'm not even done shuffling. That card is about the show we put on. The people that we advertise ourselves as being so that people will like and accept us. But again, it's like at the expense of who you really are. I just feel like there's a part of you guys that's just screaming right now. I think it's your heart. Your heart is like, good Lord, we just want to relax. We want to stop running. Can we just take a break? Can we just like get comfortable with someone? Can we allow some sort of like warmth and safety into our space from another person? But I get why you guys are scared. I think you're more ready to release this fear than you think you are. Because right now the fear is like a crutch, it's like a cushion, but it's getting to the point where there's like a pin under the cushion, you know? So it's like you're on that cushion, but it's really not comfortable. Or there's like rocks under there, it's little pebbles. You're like, what is that? Like this used to be comfortable, but it's not anymore. I'm just trying to figure out why. You guys will know why. It's not my business, but okay. So what's the advice for Taurus this August? The source of true power. I don't know if Aries reading is going to have any sort of relevance to you guys, but it might. Just because this card came out for them, but it came out in reverse for them. I don't know why I'm holding it up reverse for you, because it did not come out. It came out in reverse for Aries, but for you guys, it's upright. See, again, in reverse, it was saying to stop pushing so hard. But for you guys, this is like you need to push a little bit harder and power through all this fear, because that's the only way to prove to yourself that it is just that fear. Like you actually the only way out is through. So you actually do have to pursue something, and like this is exposure therapy it gives, like the only way to soothe that anxiety is to pursue something anyway, despite whatever fear you have. Maybe you guys are connected to an Aries actually, because we did have that they had a person that they were waiting on that things weren't opening up with yet. So that's interesting. Seeing a little bit of a connection here. Yeah, this is needing to prove to yourself that not only like can this go a lot better than you thought it would. Let's say it does blow up in your face. This is needing to prove to yourself that you're okay. Like you have bounced back in the same way that you bounced back now. Maybe it took time. That's okay. You guys can be people that want to rush things. It's like, I want to feel better now, so I need to feel better now. But that's not real. That's not realistic. That's not the reality. The reality of grief is that it's kind of forever, like you'll always have those moments where you might get triggered and you'll get a little bit sad of like, I really wanted that thing to work out. I really wanted something to happen. But I also think that a lot of this grief will be let go if you really let yourself move on, because you're out of it and time has passed. So you're telling yourself that you've moved on. But if this has such a hold on you that you can't move forward, then you haven't moved on. You gotta let yourselves move on, Taurus. Jesus. Okay, we're not taking all those. But I will take this one. I don't know that I need to explain this any further for you guys. Self-expression, protection, and authentic self. Maybe you had a relationship that you got really comfortable in and you feel like you were yourself, you were vulnerable, and then maybe the other person was lying, or something happened where it ended. It fell apart. It ended. You got your heart broken, or you got hurt in some way. Maybe you felt taken advantage of, because we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse with the Judgment card. So you could be looking at this as a lack of judgment, a lack of good judgment on your side. But I don't think it's like that's just part of life. It's part of life's cycles for you to put yourself out there, and it's like come what may. That's what the Fool card is really about. It's like, I'm gonna do this, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We're just not gonna worry. Like, we're gonna cross that bridge when we get there. We're not gonna worry about that until it's time to worry about that. Again, I really am thinking that you guys need to go watch Aries reading, because there was a lot of fear of uncertainty on their side too. So if you are dealing with an Aries and you guys have somebody in mind, like, this person is just as fearful and uncertain as you are. Like, oh my God. Otherwise, if you guys don't have any sort of prospects for any new people, that could be something that it's like there could be people around you that would be good prospects, but you don't know because you're just so closed off right now. And so, and again, you're telling yourself you're not closed off because you're being social and you're hanging out and you're mingling and maybe you're hooking up or you're going on dates, but you're not actually committing to anything. I'm gonna pull you guys one more card for advice because I feel like y'all need it. Okay, enough for now and always. Can we get a bit of commotion for this deck? Like, this deck is gorgeous. Okay, enough for now and always. You are enough. Worthiness, faith, and needs being met. Oh, Taurus, I want to give you guys a hug. So something about this last relationship could have really, again, okay, that's the wound, that's the scab. Remember I said that there was a scab that was being picked at? It was a worthiness wound. So there's something, and maybe this is also for those of you that have a person in mind that you're like avoiding moving towards. They might trigger um, your sense of worthiness. There could be something about this person that you maybe pedestalize or you look at yourself as just not being enough for. Maybe there have been people in the past who made you feel like you weren't enough. And this could be tied to your money too. Like, your sense of self and your sense of self-worth can be directly tied to how well you're doing financially. Wow. It's like the more we go through this, the more I'm like, this is so similar to Aries. Different, definitely different, but there are some very similar themes running through here. Um, faith and needs being met. So you could have, that could have been an issue in the past where, again, we were talking about that overgiving, being overly generous of your time, money, attention, energy, affection. Um, and it just wasn't reciprocated. Or you look back at that relationship, you were like, wow, I was giving so much more than I was giving. Like, this person was just, oh my God, excuse me. You're like, this person was practically stealing from me at this rate, with how easy they were getting off, with how much they were getting from me without really doing much. Okay, I'm gonna pull you guys one more card, and then we're gonna go. Did two come up? Taurus. I almost called you guys Aries. Taurus, you guys are lucky today. This card also came out as advice for Aries. Wow. Okay. In the midst of the radiant fire, inspiration, passion, obsession, cleansing fire. If you feel like you've hit any sort of a dry spell with your passion and creativity right now, a lot of it has to do with that heart space being closed off. Like, there's so much that you can't hear right now that your heart is trying to tell you because you're purposely ignoring it and shoving it to the side because you're afraid of actually hearing the call and having to do something about it. Wow. Surrender to the change. The art of allowing, resilience, and adaptability. I mean, listen. I don't have any more cards to pull for you guys because I can't say this another way. It's in reverse because you guys are not surrendering to change. Like, you have to surrender to where you're at in the present. So the change is like, yes, that happened in the past, but now, I was gonna say, now you're a new person. So that's interesting. For some of you guys, you've evolved greatly. So like, now you're a new person. You're a new person, new situation. Before I got cut off, I was gonna say, for some of you guys, I was getting that like now you're a new person. So you're not even gonna, you don't look at things the same way, you know? You're actually more hyper vigilant right now. So you might even take things that really aren't red flags and perceive them that way. But whatever the case is, like you're not going to allow whatever has happened in the past to happen now. You're not going to show up in a relationship the same way as you did before. You have discernment, but right now that discernment and your intuition is being clouded by fear. So you can't even allow yourself the comfort of really resting in this new version of yourself that this situation has probably even created, because you're so busy like still being stuck in the past by not letting yourself move forward. If you had a relationship and it went however we have described in this reading, the best thing that you can do for yourself is allow yourself to move forward. And just know that whatever has happened to you before, of course, it could happen again. But given where you're at now, I just don't see you letting it happen again. I don't know if y'all dealt with somebody that was like really manipulative. I don't know why I'm hearing state charmer, but somebody that could have just been very charming. So you're afraid to fall for somebody's charm because it's like, oh, but what if we pull the mask off this person and they're really the Joker? You know? Like, what if? But I'm telling you guys that you're okay. You are okay, and you're going to be okay. If you pull the mask off somebody and they're a Joker again, you actually have a lot more strength than you know. Whatever strength you found to walk away from that last situation is the strength that you will find to do it again. Even if it took a while before you got there. Again, I think you just need to shift your perspective and focus on what you learned about yourself in that relationship and what you gained, as opposed to thinking about the fact that like, oh my God, I lost so much. But like, again, you're okay now. So yes, maybe you lost something financially. Yes, you feel like, I gave this person parts of myself and like, just, I was so intimate with them in a way I can't get that back. You don't need to get it back. Because for some of you, some of that stuff is like expired. I think we just need as a people to get comfortable with just accepting that when we're authentic and we're showing up to a relationship in a way that's real, like we're presenting our real selves, we're fully present, we're vulnerable, like we're really here and feeling connected to this person and in this relationship. If it ends because of somebody else's whatever, that's not a failing on your part. There's nothing that you could do that could have ever stopped any of that from happening. All you need to focus on is regrouping and adjusting once you're aware of what's happening. So once you realize like, wow, me and this person are not as compatible as I thought we were. Wow, me and this person, we're not cool. We're not in the same place as I thought we were. We don't see things the same way that I thought we were. We don't have the same goals and aspirations that I thought we did. We're not on the same path. And if we are, we're not going at the same trajectory. And that's okay. We release that person with love and we keep it moving so that we can make space for the people that we are compatible with, the people that we do see things that, we're here, we're eye to eye, like for real. The people who are also not afraid of being their authentic selves. And so now we know that we're actually really tied to these people. And again, anybody can lie to you. Yes, sure. But just because someone has doesn't mean that you need to assume that everybody that you ever meet ever again is going to lie to you. I understand that sure they have the potential to, but it's just like, why pigeonhole yourself and keep yourself from having something you really want too? Because y'all can sit here and pump fake all you want to, but y'all really desire something solid and stable to go along with whatever it is that you're cultivating. And I think having all these responsibilities and being like this king of wands, you can be managing something, you're a leader, whether it's in your community or a job or a home environment, but you don't have a partner. Notice there are no queens out here. Not a single queen out here, no empress, okay? because you're doing it alone right now. You're juggling it all alone and it's upright. So you're doing it well, sure. But again, it's just like, it's so costly, you know? You're costing yourself a lot right now for a person who was so concerned about what they lost before. You're losing right now. Yeah, you guys need to shift the perspective. I'm not pulling any more cards for you, but I will read this last one that was on the bottom. The sovereignty of magic, synchronicities, miracles, and spiritual forces. So there could be a lot of synchronicities that you're ignoring right now. The universe is trying to get in touch with you and you are declining the call. Some of y'all blocked it. Put on the do not call list. Okay, your phone is on do not disturb, right? Like you're just not trying to hear it. But I think you really have so much more to gain than you even understand right now, because you're standing on the outside of, like, the outside of the gates, guessing what's behind the gates. You know, standing outside of the door and you're like, man, here's what I think is behind the door. I think it's got these, you know, infested waters where these people are out to get me. And the whole time behind the door is a rainbow and a pot of gold. But you'd never know. Wow. Okay. I do have one more card for you guys. Don't tell the other signs. Begin with faith in spring. Beginnings, innocence, fertility, and growth. And the reason why I'm pulling this card, y'all know why I'm pulling this card, okay? Because this is something that's trying to happen. It's trying to come through. Like, this is what's on the other side of that door that I was talking about. This is the pot of gold, okay? This is the start of something new. You know, this is the real deal, I think. I do. It gives very Six of Cups energy, which is funny because I saw that while I was shuffling for you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting so excited about this because I feel like there's a lot of good that wants to come your way. And I actually think that in the month of August, all this is coming up so you can stop getting in your own way. I don't know if you're going to be confronted with something or you're just going to wear yourself out and it's going to be like, you know what are we doing? And why are we doing it? Like, why am I letting this past person continue to steal from me? Like, you already feel like they've taken so much from you before. Why are you just handing your life over to them? You know, why are you taking your happiness, putting it in a box and shipping it off to this person and saying, you know what, you keep that until I'm ready to move on? Like, no, you guys are ready. You're absolutely ready. That's why this is coming up, because in the month of August, you're going to start understanding that you are ready. Fertility, growth. Come on. Begin with faith in spring. I think we had a card out already that talked about faith. Which one was it? Again, might not have even been your group. That could have been Aries, honestly. I think you guys just need to trust the process. And part of the process, you did the ugly part already. And if there's any like uglier bits that are left, like there's some more crying or something that you need to do over this person, you need to let that out so that you can move on and move forward. I'm trying to think if there's anything I have to say about this card before I really do let you guys go, because y'all got some soul searching to go do after this reading is over. Please, y'all might even have somebody you need to go pick up the phone and call, and you need to say, hey, I'm scared, but I want you. Like, sometimes you just need to be honest. Everybody has to be honest about how scared they are, because again, this other person, if they're that Aries that we got for that reading that's going to be posted before this one, they're just as scared. They're just as scared. And if you are this person that they're waiting to contact them, the lack of contact is creating so much uncertainty and fear in this person. And my Aries, like, come on, whatever you're doing, it's affecting you, and it's going to affect other people if it hasn't already. Okay, Taurus, that really and truly is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. If you did like it, if you loved it, I hope you guys loved it actually. If you guys loved it, please subscribe, like, make sure you turn on my notifications so that you know when I'm on here yelling at you guys again very soon. But that's it. Thank you guys so much. Bye.